Josh Stevens.
MZ, Michael Zwerling, standing.
Before I ask you a very personal question, would you do a little tap dance while I go back out to the car and
Sure
get
thing.
my Pure Works? Because there's a bottle in here, but it's all empty.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I feel like I have to get some.
You sure you don't want a hit of the other sanitizer we got?
If I have to, I will, but I would prefer Pure Works.
All right, go get
So
that Pure Works. Maybe I could ramble with.
It won't be too long.
Sure thing. Maybe I could even get Dave summoned in the meanwhile. If he ends up coming up, we'll be able to get the rant and rambles about all things longevity. He might be very busy at this moment trying to get those sales on and just trying to hook you all up with the deals. So if you are trying to get any of that longevity product, any of that good, any of that KSCO merchandise, or as the youngins say these days, the KSCO swag, go holler at Dave in the Dave Cave. He'll be here until 2 p.m. today, so that's all you have to worry about, folks, and that's all there is to it. I feel so wrong right now hijacking the Saturday special while waiting for MZ to return. It's pretty weird. But if you all want to get in touch with the boss man himself, you're more than welcome to call in at 479-1080. I won't be able to screen you right now, but I'll at least be able to put you on hold. As for what we have on the docket today, just like any other week, I have no idea whatsoever. So here I am, holding down the fort. Josh Stevens here. If you all want to pick MZ's brain, give him a call. If you're afraid to do so, we also got email. You can email him, mz@ksco.com, and here's the big boss man himself with all things Pure Works. And he is just rubbing it all over his hands, and he is rubbing it all over the headphones. Maybe he'll rub it all over his ears, too, for extra protection against the COVID cooties, and then some. Isn't that right, MZ? Oh, here he is.
Si, senor. What's so funny about that, Josh Stevens?
It's funny that I, managed to ad-lib all that. I didn't expect to, hijack your show for the first 5 minutes.
Well, you're a radio pro, so I didn't feel bad about asking you because I knew you'd be able to. I knew you'd pass with flying colors.
Absolutely.
Now, may I ask you the personal question of
Ask
the day?
away.
How are you feeling today?
That's it? That's not that personal.
It's very personal because I want you to really tell me.
Okay, well, I feel fantastic. I mean, I just hopped out the shower, had an excellent breakfast. I got lunch on the way, got some steak fajitas.
Good, fajitas. You're the only person besides me who pronounces it correctly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, where did you get your steak fajitas for a free commercial here?
I got them from Chili's because my girlfriend was craving that so much yesterday that I had to go pick it up in Salinas, actually, because she's in
Wait a
Aromas.
minute, where do you live?
Well, I live in Santa Cruz. She lives in Aromas.
Yeah.
So the nearest place for Chili's in her area is going down to Salinas because she's right off the 101. So, yeah, it's a bit of a barge, but she's worth it.
True love, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, my arm hurts.
What?
Wait a minute, you didn't ask me how I felt.
Yeah, how are you feeling? Besides your arm hurting, did you rub too much of the stuff?
No.
The hand sanitizer?
Ask me how I'm feeling again.
How are you feeling? Be honest.
Not so good. My arm hurts.
Well, we might have a Band-Aid laying around, and we'll be able to get that. Maybe we can get Amy to
But
give
I
you
think I know
a smooch on the arm.
why the arm hurts. I think I know why the arm hurts.
And why is that?
Hoyts. Well, because I got the vaccine yesterday. And it didn't hurt.
Whoa.
Didn't hurt going in, but boy, does it hurt now. Do you think it'll be worth it? And they say the second one, which is a month from now, is supposed to really knock you for a loop.
Which
I hope
one?
I don't pass away.
Which one did you get, if you happen to know which brand?
Moderna from CVS.
Nice.
Yeah, you like or you no like?
I mean, I hear about the Johnson & Johnson one coming out, and that I know
It's
like.
only 56% effective or something, but it's only one shot.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's just like the company that made the asbestos talcum powder. Yeah, I think I'll pass. Any of the other ones, sure.
Did you have a talcum Johnson & Johnson talcum powder rubbed on your ass as a youngster?
I don't know, but if I did, there'd definitely be no more tears.
It looks like Dave Michaels is on his way in. He must have been very, very busy with customers up until now.
He was so busy that's why I had to get the plug in for him earlier. But here he is.
Come, Dave Michaels.
To correct the
Holy
record.
Christmas. And by the way, Josh Stevens, am I to understand that you have adopted that name officially?
Yes.
And you have had your name changed from Josh Stevens to Josh Stevens?
And not only
All
that,
because of me?
yes.
Yeah.
And I remixed it for my music jockeying and called myself Double J, for short for Josh Stevens.
That is so cool, isn't it, Dave
That is
Michaels?
very, very cool. I like that, Double J.
You were consumed, presumably, in the Dave Cave.
Yeah, it's been busy. I can't believe
You
it.
have been selling the bleep out of
I've been selling that
products.
stuff like hotcakes, MZ. People are asking me about the 2.5, which we don't have, but we do have a shipment coming in pretty quickly. So I have some customers out there waiting. Let me just say that I want to tell people about, last week I mentioned the 4 categories, right? The hard tissue, soft tissue, digestion, and blood sugar. All of those, we have packs to address all of those. Most health conditions can be broken down into those 4 packs. The Healthy Start pack, the Bone and Joint pack, the Heart and Brain pack, the Blood Sugar pack, and the Digestion pack.
And is there such thing as a memory pack?
No, but there is such a thing. I don't like using the term, but there is such a thing as an anti-aging pack, which you can find at KSCOhealth.com. All kinds of packs, but the 4 that we concentrate on in the Dave Cave are those 4: hard tissue, soft tissue, blood sugar, and digestion. Now, the one I want to tell people about is the hard tissue, the one to address hard tissue, and that is the Bone and Joint pack. We've talked about it a million times. This is basically the Healthy Start pack plus Glucogel and CM cream. CM cream is the pain-relieving cream.
Yeah.
Glucogel is the stuff to support cartilage repair. And, of course, the Healthy Start pack, which has all of your 90 essential nutrients. And none of this stuff is to fix or cure or to treat anything. We just supply your body with the nutrients and the building blocks that it needs to repair itself. That's what we do. That's what we offer.
That's wonderful,
Yes.
Dave Michaels.
Yes. So if you have hard tissue problems, what you want is the Bone and Joint pack. Now, that goes, well, I don't want to start mentioning.
I got some disappointing news this week, Dave Michaels. I don't know if you know about this yet.
What's that?
We've been canceled
Where?
on our YouTube on the Critical Health News YouTube channel because YouTube decided that we are passing through questionable health information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Well, yeah, I can believe it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think,
Well-
so YouTube is in the pocket
Okay.
of the pharmaceutical companies. You think they hate us. I mean, they wish we would die.
You know what that means, MZ? It means now more than ever, it would be a good time to become a distributor and get the word out to people. The people need to hear it now more than ever. It only costs $50 to sign up. By the way,
No, is it 50 now?
$50 to sign up, $30 annually to read.
Oh, they switched it? It used to be the other way around, which I never understood. $30 to sign up and then $50 annually for renewal.
I just called Friday, and that's what I got. That's the information I got.
Oh.
And for right now, for a limited time, you can sign up as a preferred customer for free. So contact your longevity distributor or go to kscohealth.com or call 218-5726. That's 218-KSCO, and we can get you signed up as a preferred customer and get the stuff delivered to you, whether you live in Timbuktu or Dogpatch or Eyesore, Missouri. It doesn't matter where you live.
Dogpatch. That's in
Dogpatch.
San Francisco.
It is, right?
Yeah.
When I first heard that, I thought, what a funny, goofy name. But yeah, there is a place called Dogpatch in San Francisco, yeah.
It's sort of a fun place, except there's a lot of human
Dogs.
stuff.
A lot of, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
You got to
good.
do it. You got to do a dance. When you're walking, you have to be a good dancer. You know, I was mad at Fox News Channel for overdoing the business about how San Francisco is taken over by homeless and feces and stuff. And here I just did the same thing. I ought to be ashamed of
Be
myself.
a good dancer. All right, MZ, I got to go. I'll be out in the Dave Cave till 2 p.m. Again, if you have hard tissue problems, what you want is the Bone and Joint Pack. That's the Healthy Start Pack, Glucogel, and CM Cream combined together.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Dave Michaels. Maybe we'll see you next hour, and maybe we won't. What?
So
What? What?
you don't like the editorial Tucker Carlson did a while back? Then I take it, the one on San Francisco where he was all like, if you want to get a picture of a dystopian future, just go down the streets of San Francisco, take your iPhone out, and start filming, something like that.
I wasn't aware of that specific editorial commentary from Tucker Carlson.
It's a pretty good one, in my opinion.
Well, everything he does is good, except I do think they're overstating how bad it is in San Francisco. Did you just take a toke of marijuana?
No, why?
What was that?
That was a McGriddle.
Oh, you.
I'm masticating.
Is that something that you inhale? I mean, I inhale almost all my food, but yeah, it looked to me like you just took a toke of something.
Yeah, I'm smoking McGriddles.
Jeez. All righty. Well, look, it's time to start the show.
Good morning. A brighter day is here. Good morning. May we bring you cheer. We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature. Get up and go, it's today, you know, on KSCO Radio.
Gee, I forgot to turn my mic off when I cleared my throat. Did people hear that?
They sure did.
Oh, God. You know, maybe we could make headlines by doing a Saturday special, 2 hours of me clearing my throat and nothing else.
And more bloopers in between.
It's just something to think about. All right. Good morning.
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
Okay. It's getting uncomfortably close to us, the cancel culture. The last few weeks, people have, I'm sure they've sniffed out a sense of paranoia on my part that our days are numbered because of the direction of free speech. And there are some other reasons also. We don't know. We don't know. Just keep tuning in and hope you hear us. And if you don't, if you hear dead air one of these days, there will be an explanation. Okay. Now I'm going to turn off my mic to clear my throat.
Excellent. And we've already started to fill out the board.
Okay.
60% full, everybody.
All right. Really? No.
Halfway full, I meant.
That's right. Okay. And this time I cleared my throat without turning off the mic. So I've slid back. I backslid. Okay, so let's take our first call. Jonty! Hi, Jonty, about the YouTube thing. Yeah, what do you think, Jonty?
Well,
would you explain to our audience what happened? We were canceled, but we weren't canceled to the extent that it's going to make all that much of a difference. But, you know, it's the camel's nose under the tent thing is what I'm thinking. What do you think?
I think we should just clarify exactly what happened.
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
started out with very incorrect information.
Oh, sorry.
Critical Health News has a YouTube channel.
Critical Health News. And Critical Health News is the website that we have created specifically for George Norrie Coast to Coast audience, okay? And every 3 weeks or so, George has a 2-hour interview, interactive, where people can call in and ask questions and so forth, with either Pharmacist Ben Fuchs or Dr. Wallach himself, right? And we've been doing this for years and years. fairly recently, I'd say within the last couple of months, I contacted George and I said, isn't there something we could do to broaden the appeal, to broaden the audience of our critical health news interviews, with Doc Wallach and Ben Fuchs? He says, well, we're expanding our website, coasttocoastam.com, but maybe we could do a separate YouTube channel that will feature critical health news parts of, the interviews and so forth. This is...
No, you're close. It's close. It's useful information, but it's... Critical Health News has a YouTube channel. It's full of fantastic content from Ben Fuchs primarily, and also some Ask Doc Live sessions on Friday mornings, and some interviews with Ben and I. In fact, Ben and I had a fantastic conversation just recently, very controversial conversation about the nature of the coronavirus that I would invite anyone to go and check out on criticalhealthnews.com. George Norrie and Coast to Coast AM have their own separate YouTube channel where they post all of the episodes of Coast to Coast AM. They've been posting Doc and Ben interviews on there for some time. This most recent time that Ben went on with George Norrie, they talked again about the coronavirus. Ben feels that people have been a little bit hoodwinked into being extremely frightened of something that is a normal part of life. And if you want to hear the conversation that he had with George Norrie, you can go to criticalhealthnews.com and you can look at the February 16th edition of the appearance, I think is what we call it, with George Norrie on Coast to Coast AM. Fantastic show, well worth checking out. Now, for some reason, YouTube took offense to that particular show. We're not sure why. And YouTube froze George Norrie's YouTube channel and said, look, we're not letting you upload anything for 10 days because we're upset about this, and we're taking down this video. Now, before YouTube went and scanned through every appearance of Doc and Ben to try to find other reasons to take offense, they decided to unpublish all of those. So that's the scenario that we're in.
Okay. So much of our audience is not aware of any of this. But I thought I would bring it up during the Saturday special today, maybe make it a major topic. We'll see how things unfold. Because the cancel culture is becoming painfully close to us.
Well, now, cancel culture is one thing. I don't know if this really applies in a situation. YouTube is a private, Google is a private company.
I'm not, Jonty, I'm not saying they don't have the right to do that, for sure. I'm not saying, you're depriving us of our constitutional rights. That's BS. Just like someone saying that if we don't want to hear from a particular caller or we don't want to have a particular host on, that we're violating their rights. Please understand that. But it is still cancel culture. It is cancel culture. I'm not saying they don't have a right to cancel. They do. But it is cancel culture.
Communicate. There's a nuance. And here's the nuance. YouTube doesn't tell you why they took the video down. They give you a very general, it doesn't fit with our terms, something like that. And you say, well, what specifically do you have a problem with? And they say, it doesn't fit with our terms. Now, that creates a very different kind of culture to one where you say, oh, this specific line here, where you say this is what we have a problem with. Because what happens as a result of this type of interaction with their producers, the folks that make videos for YouTube, is that the folks that make videos for YouTube self-censor in this very general, vague way. They avoid all sorts of topics that might offend the auditors of YouTube videos.
Okay.
Which I think is problematic. That creates that's like that creates a chilling effect on producers. You intentionally make happy kitten videos and songs about how great everything is because you don't want to offend the overlords, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that said, there's some extraordinarily controversial stuff on YouTube, and I would say that the conversation that Ben and I had, which I invite anyone to go check out. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Jonty, the last time?
No, I'm sorry, Jonty. Review. Do a real quick, 30-second encapsulation of what it is and where you can find it.
It's on criticalhealthnews.com.
Okay. Good. It's not on any YouTube channel of criticalhealthnews.com because if it was, it wouldn't be there long, right?
It's up. It's up on YouTube. So it has not been censored. Has not been flagged. I'm hoping nobody goes and immediately flags it.
As a result, someone who doesn't like us, who listens to us anyhow, to find some way to sink our ship. There's an uncomfortable number of trolls, what people I call trolls out there, negative, nasty people who live their lives to hurt other people.
Yeah, certainly. Certainly, there's an aspect of certain humans' condition which gets a huge thrill out of empowerment. Disempowered people suddenly find themselves empowered by our contemporary digital world, and the way that you express that power is by hurting others, essentially.
Yeah, I'm looking at the short email thread, and this is from the webmaster of. No, who is it from? It's from some internal people at the Coast to Coast. Like, hi, da 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 da, and da 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 da. We just did an appeal against YouTube's decision to remove the video. They got back to say that they still think the show misinforms audiences on health matters. Right now, we can't upload anything for a week. I shall keep an eye on the channel. As soon as this community strike is off, I will remove all health shows in case some troll reports other health tips videos on the channel. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, so there you have it. Very disturbing to me. Sounds like it's less disturbing to you, but disturbing nonetheless. Am I right?
We have a lot of options. If YouTube gives us too much trouble, then we're going to move to Rumble and BitChute, and it'll be their loss. YouTube will lose our audience. So, and we'll be on a platform that is far less likely to exhibit this sort of totalitarian behavior.
Right. Okay. Well, good. So you want to stay on in case anybody has any questions for you? Maybe no one will,
sure.
But yeah, if you have to do other things, if nature calls or whatever, you just feel free to. Right. Okay. So this is Jonty, who is our director of digital operations at both ZBS Radio Network and KSCO. And he knows everything there is to know about digital media. And so here we go for our next caller, who will be...
Oh, you just dropped Mary.
Well, why did I was hit... Did you put Mary on? Hi, yeah,
Hello?
Hi. Yeah, Chico.
Hi, how are you? I just want to tell you I just arrived here from Venezuela, and I love your program. It's very, very, very nice. I come here. I work as a boxcar man in Venezuela, Caracas, and I come to America because people tell me you're crazy, you big bobo, and I said no, I want to come to America, and I came here and I turned the radio on because back in Caracas we have AM radio and lots of people that talk to us. We talk back to them, and my daughter told me she lives in Santa Cruz, and she said your program is much worth listening to, and I listened to it, and I really enjoy it. I listened last week, and I was not able to call in because my daughter was having problems with her boyfriend. He kept, well, I don't want to go there because he might be listening. And
I understand.
But I listened to your program, and your program is very, very nice. It makes me think of down home, but like I said, I love coming to America to come to America and to explore and to be happy and to love life and all that. And that's why I call. I get in, I call up, and I got right on in.
And so many people are listening to you. I mean, I believe we have a pretty big audience. I can't prove the exact number, but but yeah, I mean that's nice. And it is sort of an unusual thing. There are fewer and fewer talk radio stations that have live call-in shows. Most of the talk radio stations in this country are just conduits for mega media companies to put out
you
their
make me happy. You make me happy. My wife, we broke up, and she's back in Venezuela. She's sewing. She sews. She's a sewer, but she we got
seamstress. They call them
argument.
seamstresses in this country, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so. But she come into my life and beat me up all the time and hurt me, and that's why I want to come to America. I live with my friends and cousins here, and they told me to come here. And as I said, I heard your program, and I had to call. I love listening to you, and I read blogs, and I do lots of things, and you make me feel, as I say, I only heard the program last week, and then I heard the program this morning, and I tried to call in, and I got through. And I enjoy listening to your program. Anyway, I know you got lots of callers, so I will, but my name is Chico. And
okay, Chico Escuela?
Chico Escuela been very, very good to you guys, and we are happy to be in America.
Oh, happy that you called the Saturday special, Chico, and we hope you'll call again.
And you do a very good job. I love your program. I just started listening, like I said, and I enjoy it. It takes the time off when I go out and do the programs. Like I said, I am a boxcar man. I collect boxcars, and I sell them in the United States. I don't know if you've ever heard of a boxcar.
No, well, what hobos travel on? We're
not all hobos, but it's an old train track. And the on the track is a train. They call it boxcar. And I clean them up and I give them back to train company. And that's what excuse me. That's what got me back to America. But anyway, I know you got a lot of people on the line, and
thank
I will
you.
let
You're
you go.
absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you, Chico. Call again. Here comes Steve in Santa Cruz regarding San Francisco.
I think that was Phil Henry on the line because that had to be a credit call.
I don't know. It just said Chico Escuela.
It sounded more like Billy Sunshine. But anyway, hey, how come I hear that echo? What is that? What's up with that?
I don't know. I don't hear it. Sorry. Is it so bad that you can't continue?
I'll try to continue.
Okay, good.
That's better.
Yeah.
So listen, Michael, I was going to talk about SF, but if I could follow with your train of thought here, at this point in my life, I feel like anyone that's encouraging people to not get the vaccine right now is probably acting irresponsibly.
I agree with you. I think it's a very personal issue. I wasn't going to get the vaccine for at least a year to see how many people passed away as a result of getting the vaccine. But then I thought it over, and I started thinking more and more people that I know, friends and relatives, were getting it, and they haven't passed away yet, anyhow.
Well, what I noticed is there's two types of corona vaccine deniers. There's the people that never get sick, And then there's the people that get really sick and go, wow, I really wish I would have got the vaccine. And we've already had a few callers, not on your show, but people that said, yeah, I didn't think much of all that. I thought it was a lot of hype until I got it. And there was a guy from Gilroy that calls me, I think, and he was saying, and I feel really, really bad now because I'm sick, you know. And if you look at places like New York where they get hit really hard, you know, we're relatively lucky here in our small town. We're kind of in a bubble. Our caseload never skyrocketed. But you go to places where it really hit them hard. You know, we're pretty darn fortunate to have the option now to get that vaccine and at least cut our odds of getting it by quite a lot.
Yeah.
I just thought.
I don't think people should be urged to get the vaccine or urged not to get the vaccine. Just get all the data and decide for themselves, which is what I did.
Well, Michael, you're really old. Did you get it?
Very, very old.
I know you're very old. And did you get both of them yet?
No, just the first one yesterday.
Okay, good for you. Well, I got them both, and I feel grateful that I.
Are you very, very old also?
Yeah, we're the same age. In fact, I always wanted to ask you, how come you didn't graduate in the class of '69?
Because the honest to God answer to that reason is a question is that Mrs. Hall hated my guts. She was a third grade teacher. And she wanted me out. She wanted me the hell out of her third grade class, and there was no other third grade class to put me into, so she wanted to put me back to second grade just to get rid of me. And the principal said, if you hate the guy, if you hate Michael Z, they even called me MZ back then. If you hate MZ that much, you can't put him back, but you can put him forward. So that's what happened. I was already the youngest kid in the class then. I have a November birthday. And then I became the really youngest kid in the class, you know, when I was put ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I thought so because I'm an October birthday. We're the same year. I graduated in '69, and I was always like the youngest kid in class. You know, there was kids that were graduating that were 18 years old from school, and you and I were like, 17. And
it was terrible to have to wait a year and a half after most people to drive.
Well, MZ, listen, I think it's a personal choice. Everybody should decide for themselves. But I think also, I think a certain amount of people have to get it for it to work, to get the herd immunity.
Well, I've been told we're going to be, even if I hadn't gotten it yesterday, the herd immunity is at hand in a couple of weeks or something, or a month. And so,
well, congratulations.
Yeah, but I just got it anyhow. But my arm hurts, and I don't feel good at all. And I'm dreading how I'm going to feel in a month after the second shot.
I guarantee. Listen, I guarantee you. I can promise you right now, 100%. I'm 100% sure that the only thing you're going to feel is a sore arm and nothing else.
Well, that's what I feel now. But I've talked to lots of people. Obviously, not yourself, because you say you've had the second one. And you didn't get sick, but I've talked to a lot of people who were sick for a day, and then they were okay the next day. So.
Well, I just got my second one yesterday, so congrats on that, and we'll talk next time.
What was yours, the Moderna?
Oh, nothing else. I won't accept anything cheaper than that.
Why? Why? The Pfizer is supposed to be as good, except it has to be stored at a much lower temperature, is what I understand.
No, I didn't tell you one last thing. I have a Facebook page that I go to a lot, and I posted a query on it about a month ago. I said, I want to get I was offered the vaccine, but I'm scared. And I had 40 responses, all from care workers, people in that industry that had to get the shot to get work. And 40 people responded. They all said, go get it.
Okay. Well, good. All right. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it, Steve, and all the best to you going forward. Here is Sean in Live Oak, who wants to talk about the lowest hanging fruit. I love low-hanging fruit, unless it's rotten.
Yeah. Well, this sort of ties into your subject earlier about banning from YouTube.
And Jonty is still on, by the way, if you want to address any question to him.
Yeah.
Hello.
This when I was referring to lowest hanging fruit, this was a post made by Steven Crowder, and when he called it lowest hanging fruit, this was the thing that is the easiest to demonstrate and prove about election fraud. Is what he did is he had his interns go to Nevada and Michigan, and they went to addresses that weren't there to prove that they weren't there, that people voted from. And you on this, I also sent this posting to you. I guess another YouTuber by Salty Cracker resubmitted this, but the Steven Crowder thing, for the first 25 minutes, he's just sort of clowning around and not getting to the matter. And this is edited down to where he's just demonstrating, like you see an address that's under a freeway underpass, and you know that's where a person supposedly lives and voted from. And you also have to wonder, if this was involved with mail-in voting, how did the mail get delivered to under a freeway underpass?
Okay. So that's the lowest hanging fruit you are alluding to, or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling 479-1080. Here's Margaret in Santa Cruz regarding the cancel culture equals feelings.
Hi, MZ. How are you feeling?
Not so good.
Feelings, oh, feelings, feathery feelings. That's how I feel. Feelings.
Wait, back off the telephone a little bit because it's too distorted. I can't do anything about it.
Feelings. Nothing more than feathery feelings. You make me feel like donkey, gonna down America to dung. You make me feel like jackass, gotta kick the USH in, then gonna coo the country away. Hey, feel good, okay?
Thank you. I will try. I will endeavor. I appreciate the kind words. Here is Sally. What did you say, Josh Stevens?
Pacific Grove. Hi.
Oh, it's Sally, not Josh Stevens. Okay, go ahead, Sally. How nice to hear from you.
Hi, thanks. Hey, about this cancel culture, the thing is that I really am quite upset and concerned about this because it is so anti-American. And the cancel culture is strictly on one side. Only the conservative thought is the one being canceled. I think it's setting a very dangerous precedent. Just a minute, Michael. I'm on the phone.
Boy, are you on the phone, too, to thousands of people.
Oh, I hope so. Anyhow, the other thing is speaking of being canceled by YouTube, and he said, well, we'll just go to a different platform. And you can do that, but where are you going to get near the audience that you would get with Google and YouTube?
Well, we're going to help them. We're going to help the new platforms get to be big and powerful until they get too big for their britches, and then we'll have to go somewhere else. Right, Jonty?
Yeah, except that what will happen is that Google will just take them off.
Jonty has to, chime in here. Go ahead, Jonty.
Well, you're exactly right. There's a huge audience on YouTube, and that's why we put up with their crap.
I'm such a fool. I had a chance to buy YouTube in 2006 and didn't. What a fool.
Oh, well, it might be divine intervention, darling.
I would have run it a totally different way than they do. But again, they have the right to run their platform the way they want to because it's a private thing. Just like I have the right to run KSCO the way I choose to, which is be a voice for everyone except Holocaust deniers. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, which I'm not even sure there really are any. They just say they are because they don't want to have to face the truth. It's right there by the two pots, Michael, right by the little girl. I'm sorry, my husband needed to tell me we're getting a fence fixed that got blown over.
Oh. Should I
really-
explain to your husband that you shouldn't be disturbed on this phone call? I'll be happy to in a nice way.
Oh, no, he's a good man. I would.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I said, in a nice way. He might not be aware that you're talking to the entire KSCO audience.
Well, anyhow, it does. It's a big concern. I'm very thankful for KSCO because I don't see them canceling anything too soon. But, boy, you speak about that vaccine. There was a lady, God, it might have been on Charlie's show. I can't remember. She was newly married, and she and her husband wanted to have a family. So she, I think, was a waitress, and she had decided she was going to wait on that vaccine because she would be concerned that she might get pregnant and didn't know what the results of it would be.
There you go. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
He said, she got fired.
Well, wow, for even letting that information out. Jeez. Whoa.
I know. Yeah, she got fired, and she was saying, wait a minute, this is my body. I get to choose. Nope.
Well, she does get to choose, but if someone doesn't like what she's choosing, I think they have the right to fire her unless she chooses to make a legal issue of it, which maybe she will.
I hope she does, because I just very much disagree. I would almost agree with you if she had already had her family, et cetera, but if you think you're going to, have a pregnancy, a new pregnancy, and you're putting this stuff that, they haven't really tested for that part yet.
Yeah.
I don't blame her at all.
Nor do I. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, I'm very concerned about the cancel culture, so I would follow the money if I were the Dr. Wallach, et cetera, because it's probably because somebody else is advertising that pays them more money.
Maybe.
I wanted to get off.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you, Sally in Pacific Grove. All the best to you and your adorable, darling husband.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye. Who in the world was that?
That was Mary in Aromas returning, and
Mary,
you dropped her again.
I didn't drop her. I heard a dial tone, so she must have dropped us first. Anyhow, I hope Mary will call back because I really want to speak to her, and she goes to the head of the line if she does. I'm delighted that she's still with us because she had a vaccine quite a while back.
And I think she got her second either recently or most recently.
And she's still 98. Maybe she's since turned 99. I don't know. But in any case, here's Joe in Santa Cruz. Joe, you're on.
Thank you.
By the way, you have a 415 number. Did you used to live in the Bay Area and near San Francisco?
I did. I lived in the Richmond district.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, yes.
So let me get to the point.
Please.
I had the second Moderna shot last Wednesday. They have the drive-in thing at Sutter put it on. So let me tell you my experience. And I had the first shot, was it 1 month before that?
Yeah.
No problem, little sore arm, no big deal. Second shot has devastated me. I'm not exaggerating. First day after, not too bad. Sunday evening, 3 days later, I've developed a fever of 102, 103.
Uh-huh.
I had to go to the emergency room on Thursday because I was so sick. Technically, I couldn't even move. They did every test known to man, chest x-ray, blood work, urine sample.
Did you test positive for COVID then?
Absolutely not. I've had 3 COVID tests, all negative.
Wow.
So I've never had any symptoms whatsoever until after the second shot.
And it wasn't immediate. And it wasn't immediately after. It was a few days after.
No, it was
right?
not. It
Yeah.
was 3 days afterwards. And when I went to the emergency room, and I'm pretty lucky. I've been pretty healthy all my life, even though I'm 78 years old. I just want to give people the heads up that some people obviously react more than others. I obviously did. When the doctor came in, he told me he had no idea what it was. They gave me EKGs. And I'm not exaggerating. I can give you a list of actual tests he performed on me. Thank God, everything else was good. No problems with anything, including, I'm trying to think of all the tests they gave me. They gave me 5 different blood cultures. I'm trying to be specific so I'm not rambling on. But the bottom line is I still have a fever. It's low grade now. It's gone down to 99.
After how many days?
Well, it started Sunday night. So what is that today? Saturday?
God, that's almost a whole week.
It is. And I'm not, so my question, prior to that, maybe you could take some odd thing and say, well, maybe I picked something up between Wednesday of last week and Sunday, but that's pretty remote. And I wear a mask wherever I go. I'm trying to be real careful about it. The juxtaposition of those two things just doesn't make any sense.
Besides your age, do you have underlying health issues?
No, I do not. In fact, the doctor tells me, frankly, that for my age, I'm in really good health, thank God. I'm not complaining about that. And again, all these tests and I'm not exaggerating. I can read you a list of everything they did. I was in the emergency room for 4 hours.
That alone could be fatal these days.
Yeah, it could be. And, can you imagine the cost it's going to be? I have coverage, but, Anyway, the bottom line is I'm hopefully on the mend. But here's the interesting part of it. I thought about this. I talked to doctors. Well, you better tell Moderna about it. So I look on the webpage for Moderna. Guess what? There's no number to call. If you go to their webpage, it's in Massachusetts. That's where the company's headquartered. There's lots of phone numbers if you want to be an investor or if you want publicity, but there's actually no number to complain or not even complain. Just
comments even, or survey or whatever.
So what I did is I looked online a little bit more and did some more research, and I found the FDA's authorization. Now, Moderna and so is the Pfizer are temporary authorizations. They're emergency authorizations. They have 3 years to certify that these things are not going to cause any ramifications.
Oh yeah, that much I knew, and that's the reason why I had decided to wait a year or so, before I.
Yeah, it's a 3-year process, Michael, and you know that you're intelligent enough to figure that out.
Well,
the bottom line is,
from what you're telling me now, I'm beginning to think I might have made the wrong decision yesterday. So.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not. I mean, one of your earlier callers said it's an individual thing. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you my.
Okay, here's the question I want to ask you, Joe.
Yeah.
Very, very important question. It's the obvious question. Looking back at what happened to you in the last week, do you wish you had not taken the vaccine?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because the research says if you take one shot, I think you have 86% or something close to that protection.
Yeah.
And the booster, I don't know what it necks it up to, 95?
Yeah, something like that.
Don't hold me to those statistics. I may be off by a percentage point. But my from what I experienced this last week, that whatever the difference is, 7 or 8%, it's not worth it. I mean, I felt like I had COVID. I really did. If I had,
and you still don't feel 100%, am I right?
No, I'm not. I mean, I still have a low-grade fever.
Are you feeling 70%?
Yeah, probably. But I was down to 10. When I went in the emergency room on Thursday, I shook like a leaf.
And were you? Could you breathe? Did you?
My lungs were fine. They gave me they do the oxygen saturation test, which is normal for me. It's 97, which is considered normal. Anything below 90 isn't. So that was okay. And the chest X-ray showed negative. And they said, I don't want to get too specific because it's going to bore people, but when I could read you the list of tests they gave me.
That's okay. We get it. But no, your feelings are correct here. So
my other point, I'll just tell you one more thing. That's what my issue is. Not so much telling people not to get it. I'm not saying that. I question whether it's worth a second shot. If they do a booster, I don't think I'm going to do that because they're talking about having a third shot for whatever.
Really? I hadn't heard that. Oh, I had heard that it might be something like the flu is. They recommend that you have a flu shot every year. And speaking to some people, they say, I don't care. I'll just make that part of my life. It's no big deal.
Well, it depends. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I just I have to ask some serious questions. Here's the other part, and I'll end my call. I finally did get a number that you can call from Moderna. It's an 888 number. And this is the interesting part. So who answers the phone but an overseas operator somewhere? I have no idea where. China, India, wherever. Could barely speak English. And I'm not exaggerating. So I'm trying to explain. This is the person you're supposed to tell Moderna if you have an adverse reaction to. I had to repeat my name at least 5 different times. Give my phone number. I'm not exaggerating. 4 or 5 times. give my address, and that was on Thursday. I still haven't heard anything. The only thing they ask you for is the card you get has a lot number on it. You know, your Moderna lot number.
Yeah.
They want that, which is fine. But it's now Saturday. I don't expect someone to call me back instantaneously, but I'm curious if anyone ever is going to call me back.
Right. Wow.
And just the way they set it up is pretty scary to me. If you're going to call someone wherever in Asia trying to explain what your symptoms are, good luck.
Thanks for sharing. Listen, we have Ben Fuchs on. I think we might have to hold him over until the next hour. Hope you can stay, Ben. But
I will.
We've dropped. No, not you. But we're talking about Ben Fuchs is on the line here, and we definitely want to get to him. But Mary has been dropped inadvertently several times, so let's go to her. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate your call.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Let me try and put her on.
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
I'm going to do Fader 2.
Okay, good. All right. So Mary, hi Mary.
Hi.
How are you feeling
sorry
today?
That you don't feel well.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't. Yeah, not so good.
Well, do you know that I had my second shot Thursday?
Yeah.
And I have not had any after effects.
Did you have a sore arm after the first shot?
Neither one.
Okay. Wow, because I have a very sore arm now. So to me, that might indicate that the second shot, if I take it after talking to Joe, I'm not so sure I want to take the second shot in a month. We'll see.
I know 4 ladies, 2 in their 94 and 1 87 and myself, and neither one of us had any.
Oh, I've talked to lots of people, including family members who say, they didn't get any pain in the arm and for the first one or any reaction at all to the second one. I just hope, anyhow, thank you for calling in, and we are so happy to hear that you are just right because we love you.
Okay. Thank you, and take care.
Okay, you too. Now, just a very quick, talk with Ben Fuchs. We call this a tease in the radio business, Pharmacist Ben.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. There goes Mary. Drop Mary. Now, here, Ben, are you there?
Hello there, MZ.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. But we have
MZ,
less than a minute left here. So
I'll hold.
Good.
I'll hold before you let me go. We take the break. Let me just tell you, you have an extremely entertaining show, and I don't get a chance to listen to it all the time. But when I do listen, I find it very entertaining as well as usually informative. So keep up the good work.
Okay. Thanks, Ben. Can't wait to hear what you have to say. In about beginning about 7 or 8 minutes. Okay.
I'll hold on.
Okay. So Josh, is it Josh Stevens? Is it 10:59 and 20 seconds?
13:14.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, that gives me a
good second to cough it out and think about masticating in the next hour.
I do it several times a day. How about you?
Oh, yes. At least 3 times a day. That's what they recommend.
Who recommends that?
I don't know. Dietitians.
Okay.
Maybe even
we can ask Pharmacist Ben about how many times he recommends people masticate every day.
Absolutely.
He'll probably tell us. Okay, so yeah, we're coming up on, what do we have?
74 degrees outside the KSCO studio, mid-60s, sunny skies today. Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the upper 30s. The weekend, keeping it sunny. Time now for Saturday special. It's KSCO.
Hour number 2 thereof.
Oh, hello, darling. I hate to hang up on you, but I'm sorry, baby, but I have to go. It's time for that wonderful record show. I'd love to visit, but you'll have to call back. KSCO has the inside track.
And we're going to use that inside track, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, we sure are. Stay with us right up until noontime on the Saturday special. You can participate if you want to.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
Ben, Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Yes, that is me. How are you, sir?
Good. What's new with you? How does it feel to have been somewhat canceled?
Somewhat honored, actually.
It's a badge of honor. Yeah,
that they care that much about what I have to say. Well, I don't even know. I don't even realize. Did we say anything bad? I didn't realize we did.
Well, what did you hear me read that little email?
I did hear it, but like Jonty pointed out, they don't tell you what they said. I do recall saying that a virus is just part of life, and running around like a chicken with their head cut off because of the virus doesn't seem very dignified and doesn't even seem to make sense.
Jonty's still there. Go ahead.
Hey, Ben. Great to be on the air with you.
Yeah.
Isn't it extraordinary that, I mean, the conversation that you had with George Norrie was so benign. I mean,
that's how I felt. I try to be real
crazy, fringe thing.
Yeah, I try to be very benign about this just for this very reason. And as much as I have problems with the concept of vaccination, all vaccinations, particularly this one, which, by the way, isn't really a vaccine. It's an experimental vaccine. We should always use that word before we talk about it, because it is an experimental vaccine, and it's an experiment on human beings. I don't think everybody has the right to do whatever they want to do. In fact, that's the problem I have, is when they mandate and they require vaccinations.
You and I are totally on the same page there. Yeah. And I've talked with Doc Wallach himself, who said he will not get a vaccine, but he doesn't. He says it's a very personal decision for each person.
It's a personal decision.
Yeah, and you feel that way too. Obviously, you're not
100%.
Yeah, you're not going to say that just because a person gets it that he or she is a fool. You know, that's what they've decided to do for themselves.
Exactly. People have the right to do whatever they want to do. But you know what? In Israel right now, you can't go to certain stores without a vaccine. There's certain cruise ships that won't let you go cruising without a vaccine. Airlines are talking about a vaccine, digital passport to fly. So that's what's around the corner is a violation of the sanctity of the human body. And make no mistake about it. When you vaccinated, you are bypassing millions of years of an evolutionarily designed detoxification system in your liver and sticking things right into your blood. That's something that you want to do with great caution and with great awareness. And simply to do it because you heard it on the news it's important to do it, or because your local MD says it's a good idea to do it, doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense to me, especially considering we know how oftentimes the medical model, what passes for conventional wisdom, is wrong. In fact, a case can be made that it's more often wrong than it is right.
Well, that could be true.
So that is my position on being vaccinated. Yes, John.
I once went to the doctor after having a tick on my shoulder on a camping trip. And my mother was very worried. I was about 19 years old. I went into the doctor, and I said to the doctor, look, it wasn't a deer tick. It was a regular big old tick. I don't have Lyme disease. I'm just here because my mom was worried. And he said, well, you're saying that it was a tick that you could see? And I said, well, yeah, it was about, yay big, showing him about a centimeter size with my fingertips. And he says, well, that's not a tick, because ticks are microscopic. And I looked at him completely dumbfounded, and I said, no, ticks aren't necessarily microscopic. There are some that are, but many aren't. And he looked at me with this expression like, who the hell do I think I am telling a doctor what a tick is? But I was so adamant, and I was kind of smiling at him like he was a complete idiot. So he left the room, and he went out and he got his friend, the more experienced doctor, to come in. And the more experienced guy comes in, he looks me dead in the eyes, and he says, it wasn't a tick because it wasn't microscopic. So if anybody knows anything about ticks, there's a whole pantheon, and many of them are not microscopic. And I had two doctors on the same occasion tell me that they were only microscopic. So doctors do get things wrong sometimes. It is possible for them to be fallible.
Well, yeah, and when it comes to our health, that's a chance you don't want to take. I talked to a lady yesterday who had her gallbladder removed and her bariatric surgery and her female organs removed for what could have very easily been a digestive problem that could have been adjusted with food allergies. And she is falling apart now. She's got venous insufficiency and lymphedema, and lipedema and lymphedema, both, and cardiovascular problems, arrhythmias, all secondary to surgical procedures that she may not have needed. Point being, we are all responsible for our own health. And when we abdicate responsibility, there is oftentimes a price to be paid. And I don't personally think that that's a risk worth taking. But everybody gets their own.
Ben, did you hear the call from Joe last hour?
I heard. I don't know who Joe was.
Joe is the guy who took the vaccine, the Moderna, same one I did yesterday. He wishes he hadn't, because after
he's
his
the guy who
after
he's the guy who called Moderna, who called the side effects.
He's the guy.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Now they're talking about variants that you're going to have booster shots for every year. Really?
Yeah.
Just so you don't get the risk. And by the way, let's be clear here, okay? This vaccine is not known to stop transmission. It's not known to stop infection. What it does is it reduces severity of symptoms. So if you think you're taking this vaccine so you don't infect somebody, or you think you don't transmit to somebody, or you don't get infected, you're mistaken. You're very possibly mistaken. What we know is that this reduces the severity of symptoms, and for most people, symptoms aren't severe in the first place. So you're protecting.
Yeah, but the older you are, the more likely you are to have.
True, but I know plenty of people in their 70s who got it and had a cold for a few days. Trump had it, and he was doing speeches 3 days later. You know, he's not a paragon of health. So we're talking about protecting a small sliver of the population from getting symptoms. But people think they take it. This is the problem, MZ. People think they get vaccinated, and all of a sudden they think they're wearing a super shield that viruses bounce off of. That is the implicit messaging that you will be protected. And as most people,
maybe that's the kind of talk that YouTube is upset about, Ben.
Perhaps
what you're saying right now.
But I'm not saying anything that's not in the public domain. I'm not saying that's anything that's controversial. That's a fact. Even Dr. Fauci says doesn't protect against infection or transmission. It protects against severity of symptoms. Now, you may argue that that's a good thing, and maybe it is, but the severity of symptoms is only an issue for a tiny, tiny sliver of the population. But we're talking about vaccinating everybody, including children.
I wonder what percentage of our KSCO audience has opted for the vaccine. Maybe we'll ask that question of every caller from now on till the end of the program.
Well, the elephant in the room with regards to the efficacy, the broad efficacy of the vaccine, is that based on the CDC's own numbers, we should be in a situation right now where about 2 out of every 3 people in the United States have already had this and have a natural immunity.
So what are we protecting against? They're already protected. They're already protected. There's so many flies in this ointment. It's just it behooves us to ask questions, to do research. And many of the people who I heard talking in the last hour are just doing what they're told to do. And that's fine if they want to do it. But for people who don't want to do it, who don't want to be vaccinated, who don't want to have things injected into their blood, that should be their right, in my humble opinion. And my concern is that right will be violated in the coming days and months, in the coming months and years.
You mentioned advocating for your own bodily health, but you also have to advocate for your own political and spiritual health. And when I go out on a walk on the west side, and I see everyone on a sunny day with a breeze blowing, where there's no chance of transmission whatsoever. Everyone wearing
masks. Because
I'm not.
Yeah. Or on the beach wearing masks. Or driving their car by themselves wearing masks.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Jesus.
Right. Well, we don't live. Critical thinking is not. Unfortunately, critical thinking is not one of human beings' specialties. It occurs rarely, and that's really the bottom line here. Is we have to learn to become critical thinkers.
Yeah.
Humanity as a whole is not. That's not something that we do well.
Guys, we have Shar in Monterey on the line, someone who is not getting the vaccine. Stay on, both of you. I'm going to bring Shar into the conversation. Shar, you're on KSCO.
Oh, hi, Michael. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the peer pressure out there about forcing people or, pressuring people to take this vaccine. I have girlfriends. I play a lot of tennis. People know who I am. And
you're that Char.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, I am. But I want to tell you, the peer pressure is unbelievable. I walk on the tennis court, and all these women, have you taken the vaccine? Well, I'm in line, but I've got a friend, and I know where I can take the vaccine, and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to Mexico. Have you taken the vaccine? Well, let me tell you what I've done.
What is that? What is that beeping noise?
She's in CVS, going to get her vaccine.
Can you hear me?
Oh, are you? I hear a lot of beeping. That's very irritating. Where's that coming from?
Oh, maybe I'll have you on speaker. Is that better?
Much better. I don't hear any
Is that
beeps.
better?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the peer pressure has gotten to me so much. I'm sick of these people asking me these personal questions that should be between me and my doctor. And
have you told them it's none of their bleeping business yet?
Wait. I have something better.
Oh.
My girlfriend's a doctor, and she's not ever taking the vaccine. She said it's so dangerous. But anyway, we got together, and we have a great response to these crazy people invading my medical privacy. I am telling them, I said yesterday to 3 of them, it's between me and my doctor, and I'm not going to ask you guys or you ladies when you're going to get your next pap smear. Well, that shut him up. And they said, oh, my goodness.
Well, you should ask every one of those people, every time you see them, when they got their last pap smear and what the result was.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And now they're trying to make us get a vaccine passport. I mean, this is getting totally out of hand. I just got a text, and I can't find it right now, about some nuns that died. I don't know if you've heard about that. When they took the vaccine, and I can't find it. My friend sent it to me. And, this thing is scary. There's no research on it. I mean, we don't have a track record. I'm telling my friends, you take the vaccine, and I'll wait for a year and see if you're dead. Well,
yeah.
That's my response.
That's what I was going to do, and I don't know what happened to get me to change my mind 10 months early. Get it 10 months early. Maybe the looming thought of not being able to travel on an airplane. But you know what? I don't want to travel on an airplane anyhow if I have to wear a mask for the duration of the flight. Too much noise there. I don't know where that is, but Char, thank you for calling 479.
Okay, dear.
1080. Okay, so we're going to drop that.
So
yeah, go ahead. Ben and Jonty.
There was a not very large, but statistically a very well constructed scientific study done in a hospital. I think it was in Germany, and what they did was they tested people's vitamin D levels in their blood, and they did a comparison between the folks who were deficient in vitamin D and the folks who weren't. The folks who were not deficient in vitamin D were 15 times less likely to die. These are folks who've already been admitted to the hospital, so they're quite sick at the point at which they're being admitted. 15 times less likely to die if they had a sufficient amount of vitamin D in their blood. Now that
Dave has a lot of that in the Dave Cave.
Could have saved a hell of a lot of lives. We wouldn't be looking at 500,000 fatalities in the United States. We'd be looking at 35,000 if we had pursued the vitamin D approach, or just the being healthy and out in the sun approach, as opposed to
that's what Doc Wallach believes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so Ben, do you have anything to add? Let me ask both of you. Is there anything that would get you to change your mind and get a COVID vaccine?
No, hell no.
Okay, what about you, Jonty?
My decision will largely not be based on concerns about this particular virus. The way in which I'm forced to approach it is more through societal pressure. What is required of me in order to
to protect my family from society. That's the way in which I'll make the decision.
That is very selfless. All right, Rich in San Francisco is on the line here, and this is our Rich Lieberman, and I think he wants to roast the vaccine talk. Go ahead, Rich, you're on. I hope you make some friends with our audience.
Hi.
People love your calls when you pretend to be somebody else, but they tend to hate you
what
when
are you talking?
you. But they
Okay.
tend to hate you when you're yourself.
Corky.
Well,
that's
okay.
story
But
of my
anyhow,
life,
go ahead. You're on.
Well, I hate myself, so that's no. I'm kidding. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. But I don't know. I forgot. Are you a physician by any chance? I forgot to ask. I'm not being sarcastic.
I'm a pharmacist. I'm not a physician.
Okay. All right. I didn't mean that sarcastically. I was just
no sarcasm taken. I didn't think it was sarcastic at
Okay.
all.
So
and I want to be very
here's
clear about that.
Sure. As point well taken. Good. So here's I became a little, let's just say, not angry. Well, I've been listening to you today, and I haven't listened to you since in a while, but I've heard you on non-MZ broadcast and Dr. and Nori's show. Okay, so here's my deal. I have no vested interest, money-wise, relative-wise, anything-wise, in the shot, the vaccine. And I asked this to MZ once a couple of months ago, and I said, if you were growing up age, would you have gotten the polio shot? And he kind of thought about it, and it was a kind of a rhetorical question. So I'm in my 50s, late 50s. Okay, I'm not quote old enough to have gotten the COVID-19 shot, the vaccine. But I went on the website here where I live, the health department, and just trying to read as much and do as much research as I possibly could. Now, I'm a type 2 diabetic. I'm active, and I'm not as active as I should be. But long story short, I want to ask you one question too. This is a comment. I tried to follow every bit of research, pro, con, middle, this, that, the other. And I've decided I got the first shot, and I'm going to get the second shot a week from Monday. Okay, with no vested interest. And my question to you, and then I have a real quick follow-up, is I try to be objective, right? And you're saying, and I got perturbed. Why put that stuff in your body? Well, when you get a flu shot, you're technically getting a flu that is put into your body to develop, I'm not a doctor, antibodies which will make your immune system stronger, in theory, to fight off a flu. Well, it's the same concept, I believe, with the COVID-19, which was the reason why I went and got it, because not just Fauci, not just the Dr. Arlington, not just the doctor that appears on Fox who said to get it. And so my deal with you is people that are don't know what to do it or not. You're kind of putting fear out there, and I know you're not doing it, I don't think, intentionally. But, anything you put in your body, anything you eat, I can go out and eat an avocado, and maybe it's the wrong avocado, and I can get hives. And I'm not belittling your argument. I'm just saying we've had vaccines for years. We're dealing with a once in 100-year pandemic, and I just thought negatively about your response.
Let me.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me address everything you're saying. You said numerous things. I'm trying to address everything. First of all, let's be very clear, Rich. This is not a vaccine. It's an experimental vaccine. It's an RNA vaccine. It affects your genetics. This has never been done before. This does not compare to any other vaccine. This is an experiment. Okay, so do not compare it to the flu or the polio or any of those other things. Secondly, your point's very well taken. Anytime you inject something into your blood, anytime, you're bypassing the body's evolutionarily designed, millions of years old detoxification system. It does not compare to food. Food runs through your bloodstream, it goes into your liver, and your liver processes that food. Vaccines or anything you put into your blood bypasses that. Third of all, when you talk about building your immunity, you just stick a flu vaccine in your arm, and now you have an immune system. Your immune system is a built-in vaccine. Your immune system is designed to protect you from flus and viruses. And when you get a flu or a virus, this turns on an intelligence, a memory system that from that point on will protect you. What you're doing when you inject a vaccine into your blood, whether it's a flu vaccine or any other vaccine, is you're saying we're better than the body. We know better than the body. Fourth of all, when you talk about the polio vaccine, number one, we didn't really understand the whole concept of vaccination at the time. And number two, nobody figured out, as Jonty kind of alluded to earlier, nobody figured out if polio or the flu or any other illnesses are due to hygiene, are due to vitamin C deficiency, are due to poor diets, are due to a whole range, a wide spectrum of possible causes that should be taken care of first before you stick a chemical into your blood. And then last of all, when you get a vaccine, this is very, very important. Everybody should hear this. And Rich, you're a bright man. I want you to know this. When you get a vaccine in your arm, you're putting a cocktail of chemicals inside your bloodstream that have nothing to do with immunity, that are just there to either support the vaccination, like an adjuvant, like aluminum or squalane or some kind of fatty material that acts as an additional poison. You're putting in support molecules that help transport the vaccine into your bloodstream. You're also putting preservatives into your bloodstream. This is not just a magic little vaccine, a magic little molecule that sparks immunity.
Can I respond?
Yes.
Can I respond?
Yes, please.
Okay. I don't mean to be contentious. I respect.
Yes.
I wouldn't have called. I got a little unnerving. Let me just respond in two ways. Okay. Number one, from the best of my knowledge, out of the millions, roughly in this country alone, 50 million have already got it, whether it's been the first or the booster shot. And outside of a few very, very extreme reactions, most people have thus far survived. And I don't mean survived like, they're still alive. They've had some minor reactions, like a sore arm, which I got. I haven't had the second shot yet. Okay, that's number one. Number two.
Well, let's don't go to number two. Let's address number one. Problems with vaccines take months to years to show up. When they test vaccines, it takes months to years of research. This one was tested for 8 weeks. So we don't know about fertility issues. We don't know about vaccine. Let me just say this one last thing. There's something called vaccine-enhanced immunity, where vaccines will actually make your subsequent infections worse than if you didn't have the vaccine. We don't know about vaccine-enhanced immunities. We don't know about fertility issues. We don't know about cancer issues long-term. We don't know any of that.
You could say you can apply. Well, you can apply the same logic to you go out and you get blood tests. When you go to your own doctor. Look, here my point in this. This is the main point I wanted to make. You're putting out information which sounds pretty valid. I've asked my own physician. I've asked doctors. I've tried to go do research. I've looked at every conceivable pro and con aspect of this process, and everything I've read has said to do it. And with people that are very much have no dog in the fight, as you would say, don't have any motive whatsoever to tell me to do it, as opposed to somebody saying don't do it at all. In other words, I'm going by what Dr. Fauci has said, what other doctors who are not only credible, but wait a minute, and have said, ask your doctor, go to the science. You hear that? It's almost become a cliche. Go with the science. Go with the science.
The science is censored.
So all I'm saying is, I hear what you. And you know what? I think. I was just going to say
the science is censored. The science is censored. You're only hearing half the story.
No, I'm not. Well, no, I have. I've gone to research sites and I've tried to do my due diligence and seeing the other side. And that's where it gets murky, because I think a lot of people are on the fence who are listening to you, who maybe have, especially people that have real outside health issues, diabetes or heart disease or what have you, or even mild cases of something that are being treated, it might be saying, I'm not going to go get it, or I'm not going to get the shot at all, or the second shot, or the first shot, and might be putting themselves as I'm not blaming you for that. That's what I think is so, and I share MZ's and others' grief now that hearing that caller, that guy. But then I hear the 98-year-old woman who got the second shot from Moderna, which is where I'm going to get my shot, Moderna, saying that she had no issues whatsoever as of now. I'm like going, look, of course there could be things that could happen later on in life. You could apply that same thought formula to getting I mean, you keep saying, well, it's not really a vaccine. It's not really They did a lot of research on this. They may have, I mean, they called it warp speed. Yeah, they kind of rushed up the process, by the way, which was initiated by a certain president who just left office. I'm not being sarcastic there either. I just wanted to let you know, I appreciate and respect your thoughts. I wouldn't have called otherwise, and I just wanted to give you the other side. I appreciate your time. I'll let you move on, both of you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Okay. Now let's take our next caller, okay? That would be David in San Francisco. Go ahead, David.
Well, how are you, Michael?
Hi.
Yes. I went ahead and had the vaccine, and let me just tell you, after having the vaccine, I realized that Donald Trump is the kindest, wisest, most honorable candidate in the history of the world. And so...
Now, you're being facetious now, because I know you hate his guts.
Well, after taking the vaccine that he commissioned, what else can you end up with? But, the thing that bothers me about this whole epidemic is if it's a new disease, and it's a new disease that came out of a sweatshop city in China, where there's massive pollution with no regulations, and the policy of the United States government has been to destroy the EPA and regulations of pollution, then if we're going to end up with brand new pollution diseases and have to take vaccines to deal with the brand new pollution, but the polluters won't disclose what the pollution was to create the disease, so everybody is going to be blind in the future as to the origins of a disease, and that we're just going to have to become pollutant monsters. And every 6 weeks there's going to be a new epidemic because there's no regulation on pollution.
You lost me somewhere, Dave. What about you, Ben and Jonty?
This gentleman's point is very well taken.
Oh,
pollution.
okay.
If we really cared about health, we wouldn't be spewing or allowing companies and factories to spew millions of tons of toxic aluminum and phosphates and mercury and all kinds of other toxic pollutants into the air every year. But yet we get a vaccine. Do you know the countries, if you do a little scan on the countries that have the most deaths, and even the parts of the country in the United States that have the most deaths, they tend to be countries where there's a lot of countries and areas in the United States where there's a lot of pollution. Wuhan is one of the most polluted cities on the planet. So it could very well be related to toxicity that's being spewed out into the air. Why aren't we doing something about that? Why are we allowing pollutants to toxify the environment? And then on the other hand, when a disease shows up, we're all scrambling around to get a vaccine. This doesn't smell right to me, no pun intended. And by the way, I wonder if Rich, I didn't get a chance to ask this, I wonder if Rich thinks I should be censored.
No, I'm sure he doesn't.
Well, he says that I'm spewing out or I'm putting out information that could scare people. I've said from day one, if people want to get an experimental vaccine to be part of an experiment, that's their business. Nobody should tell you yay or nay.
Isn't it ironic, Ben, that it would be suggested that you're spreading fear?
Yeah,
exactly. I just want to say, guys, I may or may not have gotten together with some close friends, some best friends. Might have been about 8 people if it actually happened, but I'm not going to say it because I want to keep some plausible deniability. And gone into the room with several of my best friends from life and gave them all a big hug. And then we may or may not have stood around and had a hell of a great conversation. And then we may or may not have played some music and sang some songs. Most dangerous damn thing you can do is sing. So
nice.
That may not have happened. And with regards to a person taking control of their own spiritual health, that might be something that's really damn important to do. More important than wearing a mask while you drive around in your car.
Okay.
I 100% agree with that.
Let's take our next caller, okay? None other than Julie in Los Banos. Julie.
Oh.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm painting my bathroom and listening to your.
Okay.
First of all,
Try not to make any extraneous noise because we pick up a lot of that and it's wrecking the show. So.
No, I stopped. I walked out. But I hope you feel better. And 2 weeks ago, I just suggested that you give a lot of thought to getting the vaccine. So I hope you feel better and I hope everything turns out okay.
Were you advocating that I get it or that I just think a lot before I get it or not get it?
I'm not going to advocate anymore whether anybody should or not. They can do the research and figure it out for themselves. I myself am not going to get it.
I'm just afraid that I might have made a terrible mistake yesterday that I'll pay for the rest of my life, which may be considerably shortened.
I'll pray for you. But, I told you that about my 86-year-old neighbor that got the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine and was violently ill for 3 days. She's still not where she was before she got it. So she does regret it. But, regrets are like,
Was that after both shots, the Pfizer?
No,
or just one?
She just received the first one, and then she decided after she was violently ill for 3 days with vomiting and diarrhea that she wouldn't get the second one. So every day she's getting a little better. She's back to driving. She didn't drive for about a week and a half, but
wow,
she's okay now. But I just wanted to say your caller Lieberman, when he got on February 13th and called me an idiot and whatnot.
He was very upset. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, he should be because he gets caught in his lies. During that radio program, he said that he had received the first shot. And if I may be incorrect, because I was painting and my husband started talking to me, he says that he has not received the first shot. So what?
No. He's received the first shot.
Okay.
It must have been a misunderstanding.
I'm sorry.
He'll receive the second shot in a week or 2 weeks or something.
I'll blame that on my husband for talking over when I was trying to listen.
Okay. All right.
I just got done reading the book by Charles Ortlib called, I wrote the title down about Anthony Fauci and his Bernie Madoff type Ponzi scheme for the HIV/AIDS virus and the correlation between the chronic fatigue syndrome and how he helped destroy Judy Mikovits and Pete Duisberg when they disputed what he was claiming, that the two viruses were not correlated, were not the same. Don't you find it strange that a virus only attacks one gender, male, and people with the sexual preference of their own same sex? I mean, I had a friend die of AIDS in 2012, and which was very sad. But didn't anybody ever think that a virus just attacks a certain gender and a certain sexual preference?
No.
Thought that was strange.
Wow, an LGBT virus.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, anyway, this whole Ponzi scheme goes way back to the end of the 70s, early 80s, when Fauci took over the NIHS or whatever. I can't remember the acronym for the agency, but just do your research like I have. Read what's out there. It's available. Make your own decision if you think the direction that this pandemic stuff is headed. This is not going to be the end of it. So if you
Julie, thank you for your participation on the Saturday special. Poor WC has been waiting for 17, almost 18 minutes, but now you're on. I'm not so good. I have a sore arm.
I'm sorry. I'm marvelous, but to go back in history, one, the flu shot. I mean, not the flu shot, but the polio vaccine. I remember standing in line with no choice because it was mandated by the government that every kid had to have a polio shot.
I don't remember that. Does that sound right, Pharmacist Ben?
That was before my time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the. That was
I remember that everybody couldn't wait to get it. I remember that, but I wasn't sure that it was mandated. But we'll take your word for it. Okay, fine.
It was in the 50s.
Okay.
Anyway, then to go into further into time, in 1961, I went into the Navy, and in basic, they had a very bad habit of combining 6 or 7 different vaccines, and they put me in the base hospital down there, killed me with influenza type unknown. I got out, when I got out of the hospital, I demanded a medical discharge with full benefits, and they told me to go pound sand politely. And I said, I want to put on my medical record forever that I'm allergic to the flu vaccine. Okay, now to modern times, from 61 until this date, I've never had a cold or a flu. I do not take...
Maybe all those vaccines that you thought were bad for you were indeed good for you.
Well, like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you better. But I've never had the flu shot. I've never had the flu or a cold since 61. And I don't take any vaccines, but I count on my Mighty 90 and Infukes and Aqualic to keep my immune system up. And I'm living a great life. I'm 76. I'll be 77 in April, and I'm going strong.
Okay. Great.
All
Well,
right, buddy.
yeah, keep going strong, WC. Here's Bill in Aptos about the vaccines. Go ahead, Bill.
Hi, yeah, thank you for taking my... Did you say that you recently got the flu vaccine, Michael?
Not the flu, the COVID yesterday.
Or, excuse me, yeah, the COVID vaccine. Okay. I do want to make a couple of remarks about the vaccine, but because someone a minute ago was mentioning about the absurdity of when you see someone driving in a car by themselves, the windows up, and they've got a mask on.
Yeah.
And I heard someone the other day liken it to a man being at home alone on Saturday night in his apartment, so he's alone in bed wearing a condom. seemed apt. So I wanted to mention you had a caller who about 5 times mentioned that he was talking to someone, your guest, who is not technically an MD, and that he has done all kinds of research. Well, I have to say, your guest.
Which guest?
The pharmacist.
Pharmacist Ben.
Yeah.
Well, you're the Bill I know who should know Pharmacist Ben, right?
The answers that Pharmacist Ben has been giving are in such detail. I don't know any doctors who could describe anything he just said half as well, and many of them don't seem to know half of what he knows. And sometimes
that's why a few years ago we did a program on statin drugs, yay or nay. We had Pharmacist Ben on with another Dr. Ben, who was a cardiologist, and it was so uncomfortable for the cardiologist that he left after the first hour. He couldn't take any more.
I believe it. I believe it. Recently I was thumbing through an old Look magazine that a friend of mine is a collector, and it was from the 30s, and there was a wonderful, well, not wonderful, but ironic ad, and it shows a doctor in his pajamas sitting on the side of the bed on the phone, and a patient has called him in the middle of the night, and he's talking to Mrs. Simmons or whoever it is, and she's complaining of having a sore throat and a cough that won't go away. So he suggests, using his best medical knowledge, that she switch to a menthol cigarette. And we would like to think that we've progressed so far since those days, but sometimes I really wonder. Okay, and so if I could recommend one thing, and once again, this isn't even an MD, but if people will look at this, they will see someone who references MDs all through the presentation, and it is a very eye-opening presentation. And it's actually done by the comedian actor Chris Tucker. But to see it, you have to first of all be on DuckDuckGo instead of Google, because Google wants to protect you from certain truths. So if you use DuckDuckGo, and the name of the video is The One About the Vaccines, only he spells vaccine VACKSEENZ, The One About the Vaccines. And if you put BitChute, BITCHUTE, after that, you will not only be entertained because there are moments of it that are falling over hilarious, but there's some very, very serious information in there about this specific vaccine and the experimental nature of it. So that was, I mean, if I could just get a few people to look at that, and you will find if you want to share it with someone else, most of the media people want to protect us from this kind of information.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? And you had a caller who mentioned time and time again, I have done all the research. I've gone to Fox. I've gone here. If he would do one thing and just switch for 1 hour from Google to DuckDuckGo.com and ask about masks, ask about COVID, ask about the total death rate in America for the last 5 years, broken down by year, not COVID, but just how many people died, and ask it about the efficacy of mask wearing with a virus. He will get information, and he's going to go, wait a minute. This is the opposite of everything I've researched. Who's lying to me? Well, I believe somebody is lying to us. Now, my wife yesterday, do I have 2 more minutes?
No.
Okay, I don't. Okay.
I love you, Bill, but there's so many people want to get on. You've been on. We love what you say, but
I'm done.
Save it. Okay, thank you. Rory and Watsonville, right away.
Bill's got a call back next week at the beginning.
Yeah, he's great for sure. There's so many
good
people
man.
waiting, and there's only 11 minutes left. So.
Yeah, Mike, listen to Shanti. Move away from YouTube. Tell them adios, amigos. Thank you, but no thank you. And we'll lose. They'll lose market share. And I know Ben knows that. Just move away from them. Go to these other platforms. Screw them.
All right.
They're going to be censored. And one last thing. The Mighty 90, your previous caller that's going to be 77 this year, said it. The Mighty 90, build your immune system. Ben and Dr. and
is it too late for me since I got the vaccine yesterday?
No, you just got to triple up. Just go crazy. Take extra zinc. But Ben will set you straight. You just got to do it, MC. It's like those singing lessons. You got to do it.
Yeah. Ben, I guess I hope Rory's right when he says it's not too late for me because I might have made a terrible mistake yesterday.
The human body is amazingly resilient. And by the way, if you do get the vaccine, make sure you're using your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get some charcoal powder, charcoal capsules, maybe some bentonite clay to help support detoxification. Now, this is a genetic vaccine, so detoxification strategies may not work as effectively as an ordinary vaccine, but anything you do to support your immune system will prevent you from having reactions or possibly prevent you from having reactions and strengthen your immunity at the same time.
Okay.
And I agree with Ben. This should be a personal decision for each person. It should not be mandatory. You have a Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your person, and you have the right to informed consent. And, that's what we got to do. Last thing, early on in the AIDS crisis, I had a good friend that was at med school at USC in the early 80s. He said early patients that had HIV, that their T-cell ratios were inverted. This is well before any extended research, but that's one of the first things they noted. Something was going on in their immune system, and it was upside down. Maybe Ben knows what that means, but he said the T-cell ratios were inverted. So, anyhow, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for a good show.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you for doing your part to make it a good show. Richard N. Watsonville.
Thank you, Michael, for taking my call. I just wanted to say I called about the future of the virus because they keep coming out with these variants,
Yeah.
And I think it's going to come a time where if you don't have this first one in your body, when they put a booster in your arm for the new variant, it won't take hold because you don't have the original COVID vaccine.
Do you have it?
I don't have the flu or the COVID vaccine, but I'm going to take it.
You are going to get it, huh?
I am going to get it, yeah.
Why did you decide yes?
Because like I just said, I don't know what these variants. We got variants from South Africa, Brazil, England, and they're coming at us. Because these airplane guys want to let everybody on the airplane, and I don't know, they are doing something where you can't fly, and if you're, infected with the virus, you got to stay in that country, quarantined or something, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know, Mike, but I'm going to take it just because I don't know what the future holds.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, you know what I think, because I went ahead and pulled the trigger yesterday.
Well, let me ask you this: did you take it on your left arm or your right arm?
Left arm, yeah.
That's the arm that's closest to the heart.
Oh no!
Well, I don't know, but they always
You can't
tell me
unring a bell.
No, I don't know. I don't know, man. Good luck.
Thank you, Richard. To you,
I'm going to have
too.
mine in the right arm.
Okay, yeah, you obviously thought this over. Okay, Nick in Live Oak, you're on KSCO.
Hi, MZ.
Hi,
I'm
Nick.
Forward to just touch base with you really quickly and to let you know and let everybody know that it has been illegal since Nuremberg trials, what's known as the Nuremberg Code, to forcibly have anybody take a medical procedure they do not want or need.
Oh.
So it's a part of international law, been around for over 70 years. Just thought I'd invite people to look it up and see for themselves.
Good.
All right.
The problem is there's sneaky ways around that, like not letting you go to the store without being vaccinated, or not letting you go participate or get a job or participate in the workplace without a vaccination.
Or get on an airplane, yeah.
Yes.
On an airplane.
So that will probably be challenged pretty readily, I think, in the near future if it starts getting that squirrely.
Right. Okay, thank you
All right,
very
thank
much.
you.
Now we're going to go to Richard in Santa Cruz. Richard, you're on.
Thank you. I need some help from the audience. I was listening to another station last February or late January.
Well, we'll forgive
Never
you.
mind. Listen. And he was talking with a doctor about the disease. Anyway, the news came on. It was Fox News, which is on that channel. And the report was, and they had an audio clip actually, that they were reporting on a war game held at the Aspen Institute under the auspices of the World Economic Forum, chaired by Bill Gates. Anthony Fauci, Deborah Birx were there. Officers of the CDC and the NIH were there, according to this report. And one of the spokesmen, which was a woman, I believe it was Deborah Birx, said that she was in charge of suppressing all information about the COVID virus. This was 2 months before it had been discovered in Wuhan, all right, or the first case appeared in Washington. I'd like people to see, and no mention was made of this on that show, and I have never heard since anybody referred to that news broadcast or to that war game held at the Aspen Institute. I'd like people, so I don't have a computer, so I can't do it myself. And I was hoping that somebody could answer that question. Second point, people should read The Price of Panic. It's a very good book about this whole issue. And third, you had on one of your shows, Dina Merritt, who was an ex-president of the AMA, said she wasn't going to get it because she was afraid, she was concerned about the experimental nature of it and that the animal testing had been bypassed, which is what your guest was talking about, and that she was afraid of what are called Trojan horses, which are things that appear later on in the process, and having to do with all of the problems. Anyway, that's all I meant.
Well, thank you for...
Yeah, I'd like your audience, if they could, to somebody to find out whether that is an accurate broadcast or what happened to that news. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Thank you for calling 479-1080. West Side Al, you're on. The new and improved West Side Al.
Hey, right on, MG. Real quick, while I remember, can you sign us off with a song, God Bless the Child? But before you hang up on me, I want to ask you, did you catch the show yesterday where China Uber Ellis?
Thursday, yes, I did.
Okay, so you did hear the general when he told us.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very, he issued, what he said was very upsetting and surprising to Non and Billy and Amy.
And me too, because he pointed out non-conventional warfare. That will be the word of the day. But yeah, if I could get you to sing a song and one quick one.
No, it's too late. God bless the child. Was that right? What were you going to say?
Yeah, that's the one. Billie Holiday did it, and so did Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Okay, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Yeah, there's just not enough time. It'd take me a minute to find it, if they even have it, and then there's only a minute to sing it. So, but thank you. I'll try to do it next week. If I'm still here next week, if I haven't, if something terrible hasn't happened.
Nothing's going to happen. You got to do the breathing, a lot of breathing. And one quick pointer with the singing. Just imagine your stomach's the amplifier.
Since I've been doing that, Al, I'm singing better to myself.
Yeah,
so I don't have to subject so many other people to it to make them lose their lunch.
The next part of the lesson, if you do it all the way up to your head and your mouth, like that's the speaker. So you get everything going, your head resonating, and you just got to imagine it that way and get that power. And then, you get it all going. God bless you. We're all with you. You'll be better. Just pump up that immune.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was very nice to hear from you. Well, Ben and Jonty, how can I thank you folks for propping me up on the Saturday special here?
This is how you can thank the MZ. Stay by your phone. I want to call you after the show. Can you stay by your phone?
Sure.
I need to talk to you. Okay, and Jonty, I need to call you also about tomorrow.
You are the busiest men in the world. It's true.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And thank you for your very smart listeners and your very entertaining show. I'm serious.
Well, it's been 30 years that we've taken to hone this extremely intelligent audience, but it was worth every second of it, So anyhow, stay tuned for Tom Quinn on the Tom Quinn Show. Yes, Tom Quinn. Yeah, I'm finally doing a promo for you, like I should do every week. And you've got I see your guest is already on, ready. So that's about it. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to play the That's All, folks.
That's all.